Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to learn my 5-step formula for trading leverage successfully and safely. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel, as does your wonderful comments. Thank you for those that take the time to post those. So first of all, we're going to look at what is leverage. Leverage trading allows traders to control larger positions than their initial capital by using borrowed funds, potentially amplifying both profits and losses. So let's look at my 5 steps formula that will really help you getting started with leverage trading. Number 1 is to start small with low leverage, which 2 to 3x. So if we were to go over to example for a liquidation price calculator, and if we were to use $1,000 and we were to go with 2x, that means you use $500 of your own money, you would have to lose, before you were to lose all of your $500, your position size would have to go down a whopping 50%. Now, you would have stopped out of your position before then as to not get liquidated, but that's a good example. If you were to use 3x leverage on $1,000, which means you're putting in about $333 of your own money and you're borrowing $666, then of course, you would get liquidated or lose that $333. Now, you will never get to a place, they will never allow you for this to be in loss, the $500 that you've borrowed. Those that loaned you the money will always get their money back. Now, of course, first of all, you want to have a strategy in place where you have a stop loss to prevent that from ever happening. We cover that in other classes in the Discord, okay? And we'll talk about that more in a moment. Now, if we go across to here, you can see this even more clearly. If the position price was long, you can now calculate what kind of money that you would make on a trade. So let's just say the margin requirement was 500, the leverage ratio was 20. That makes it a $10,000 trade. So if we were to open up a position on Solana at about 130 and an exit price was 150, the profit there would be $1,538. Whereas if you just used your $500 for that position, you would only make about $76. And this is where leverage trading can really supersize your gains, but it can also supersize your losses. That is why I recommend starting off with small leverage while you learn, so that you make mistakes, you minimize your losses. Because of course, if this was to go the other way, $20 the other way and drop to $110, your loss would be $1,538. In fact, you would have been liquidated. You would lose the $500. And that's another key, that you can only lose what you put in. So if you put in $500, that's all that you can lose. So for example, if you went 100 of your own money at 20x leverage, your profit would be about $300. And the most that you could lose on the trade would be $100 if you got liquidated, if you didn't put stop losses. And if you went really risky and did 50x leverage, your profit on that trade would be $769. You put in $100 of your own money, use 50x leverage. That's a $5,000 trade there. But the most that you can lose is what you put in, which is $100. But if the trade moves against you by just 2%, then you can be liquidated, unfortunately. If we come back to the liquidation level here, and that was a $5,000 trade at 50x, you would be liquidated, ouch, as soon as the trade lost $100, okay, as long as that trade went down $100. So that could be quite liquidated quite quickly on that position. Okay, so that's number one, only to use, start small with low leverage, 2 to 3x. How do you do that? Well, look here, I've got a Belofin account open here. This is just a training account that I've opened to help you all out. If you would like to get started with leverage trading, you can find information below in the description of this video. You just need to click the more button. It's going to pop out. And there are Discords there where you can learn leverage trading. I do weekly live sessions where you can actually talk live with me and interact via Zoom. And I do live sessions. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can type chat messages. You can remain anonymous. You can show your face, hide your face. However you like to do it works. And you can interact there. And we do those sessions every single week, helping people learn how to make money on the way up, on the way down, and when it goes sideways, and use leverage responsibly and safely. Of course, there is always risk there. Now, the Tribal Trades Discord is currently closed. We do open it periodically throughout the year. However, if you do want to get on the wait list, you can send an email to that email address there. And we have a leverage lounge in the Tribal Trades Discord full of leverage traded there, helping, supporting one another, learning from one another. And I'm in there as well, sharing different trades and answering questions. And there's a full questions and help section in there as well. And then, of course, the Stocks with Josh Discord, which is currently open. There are links there. And I have my own Crown Traders channel in there where I share education, insights, resources, a lot of those trade setups. Also do some weekly sessions with some leverage trading live sessions there to help within the Discord community there, the Stocks with Josh Discord. And of course, entertainment, because this is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay. And so how would you go? Well, I'm not going to do the full leverage tutorial here because you can find all of those in the Discords. Okay. But I'll just show you here. You just simply go to 2x or 3x here. So let's just go and do a 2x leverage here. And we're going to go long on here, okay? And then we can say, right, if we just want to go small, we could do $100, which I would have to put in $50 of my own money. So you could go 3x. So I would probably recommend 3x as a good start for longs. For longs, we'll talk about shorts in a moment. Therefore, you're using $33 of your own money. That's the most you can lose on the trade. And if you have a stop loss, which I recommend, and we teach that in the Discord, how and when and where to place your stop losses there, then you would lose much less than that if the trade went against you. We also teach you how to reverse the trade to quickly move from long to short or short to long to take advantage of the swings there. And so what you have there, you got $100 and you're only risking 33 of your own money. That would probably be where I would recommend people to start with. And then as you get better with it, you can then turn that into an $1,000 trade. You should never get liquidated. If you go through all the trainings properly, you'll only get stopped out and lose a small fraction of that. Really, you should only lose a couple of dollars getting stopped out if you're on a $1,000 trade. And then the goal is eventually to get you up to these $5,000 or $10,000 levels. And the goal would be, when you're using $100, the goal would be to make $1 or $2 each trade. I know that sounds silly and small, but remember, this is for practice and keep you safe. Because if you can make $1 or $2 per trade, when you start using $1,000 and maybe only $100 of your own money, then that trade is $10 to $20, okay, that you're making. It's like, well, that's not enough to change my life in any significant way. You may be saying that, and fair enough. But then when you get to 5,000, that 10 to 20 now is $50 to $100 that you're now trading with $5,000 in leverage. And you can do that many different ways. If you go 5,000 here, and you can actually go, if you do 5x leverage, you're only using $1,000. But if you go to 10x leverage, you're only using $500. And if you go to 20x leverage, you're only actually using $250 of your own money. That makes a big difference, as I showed you before in the trade, the difference of making $1,300 on a trade and only $76 on the trade was using the same amount of money, but one was using leverage and one was not. Okay, so of course, the long-term goal is the really experienced traders in the Discords, $10,000. You're using $500 of your own money at 20x, and therefore that really does supersize your trades and what you do. Now, if you can get your trade size up to $10,000, well, that $1 trade now at $100 is now $100 profit, and that $2 win is a $200 win. You do that a few times a day and come out on the winning end, then you're going to be looking at $300 to $500 on 3 to 5 successful trades. And therefore, you are making anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 per month trading that way, just because you learn how to do it small to begin with. So that is step number 1. Step number 2 here is, of course, use stop losses. So the importance of using stop losses. And so when you set up the trade, you can click this little button actually. So we're going to put $82,000 and you'll only lose just a few dollars down there. I think it's $10 there. You would lose $10 on that trade, for example. You could put it a little bit tighter. You might make the take profit $90,000. You'd make $85 on that trade, for example, in that there. And so you want to make sure you set your stop losses so that you minimize your losses on the trade. Again, we teach in other videos where and how to set it to make sure that you're not getting stopped out too often. So there you can see that we can set the stop losses to make sure that you don't get liquidated, because you've got on this trade here at 3x, you've got $300 in the trade. Again, you can sign up for Blowfin. Below there is a description for a link there. If you use my link, there is up to $5,000 in bonuses that you can win, depending on how much you deposit to trade. They will give you bonuses, but you make sure that you use my link below in the description to get those benefits and reduce trading fees there. There's also another platform there called MEXC and BitUnex, 3 of them there that I use. And so 2 of them, you would need a VPN, NordVPN. I've also left the link below in the description. For the Blowfin one, I am told you do not need to use a VPN while trading, but do not complete KYC on any 3 of these exchanges. What's KYC? Know your customer, which means you don't have to put your street address or your social security number or anything crazy like that. Only put your first and last name and your email address. That's it. No more, no phone number, no nothing else. That's it on all 3 exchanges. And then for BitUnex and MEXC, you would need a NordVPN and set it up to a country that you identify as being in, like the Bahamas, for example. And for Blowfin, you shouldn't need to do that. But a NordVPN is a couple of dollars a month. Again, if you use my link, you'll get should get a few free months, and you should get a good size discount. And you just need the basic plan. I think it's $2 or $3 per month there. Okay, so set your stop losses. Number 2, and that's how you set your stop loss. And then, of course, number 3 is never risk too much capital. We've kind of already talked that already. The most we're risking here is $33 at 3x on a $100 trade. Okay, so that's the most capital that I'm risking on this trade. Number 4 is to practice first with a demo account. The wonderful thing about Blowfin and MEXC, I don't think BitUnex has a demo account, is you can go in here and go to the futures area and go demo trading. And there you can learn how to leverage trade on a demo account first. I would highly recommend that. Of course, you don't get the feeling of actually trading with real money. If you make wins there, you don't get to keep them. But of course, if you make losses there, you don't get penalized with them. It's free to sign up. You just click on the Blowfin link, put your email address in there, put your first name and last name in there, and then you are set up and ready to go for trading. And then you just come over here and click on the demo trading, and you can leverage trade using this demo account. So let's just finish off with this one here. Have an exit plan. You want to have an exit plan, and this is where putting your stop loss and your take profit in when you're putting in the trade. That means emotions come away from the trade. You're not tempted to like, oh, I'm going to let it go into a little bit more loss. I don't want to stop out there. And then it just keeps going against you. And then you get liquidated. You put those in place. And then of course, shorting the market. So we can sell short here. Now you can go 1x. You can go 1x. And that means that is because you might say, well, look, I don't want to borrow any money. You can go 1x. And how you go 1x is just simply that you're using 100. That means you're using $100 of your own money. Now you can still get liquidated, of course, going short, because you can just lose the money that you put in there. But for example, if you went short on Bitcoin at $100,000, you wouldn't get liquidated until it hit $200,000. So your liquidation level is far, far away. And just remember as well that for all of these leverage positions, they can be over shorter time frames. People who trade the 1 minute time frame in and out very quickly. People who trade the 5 or 15 minute time frame very quick in and out, not as quick as the 1 minute. But then you can trade the hour or the 4 hour or the daily or the weekly time frames and open up trades and let them play out over a long period of time. For example, you might want to say, hey, I want to open up a rejected here at the 50-day moving average. I'm going to open up a short at 1x leverage. And then, because if I was to ask people the question and say, listen, how would you have liked to have bought Bitcoin at $46,000 or $45,000 or $40,000 and rode it all the way up to $81,000, where it got to at the beginning of November? And everybody said, yeah, I'd love an opportunity to do it. Well, guess what? If Bitcoin goes from 80,000 down to 40,000 in the bear market, you can make money going down. You buy here at 80,000 and then you take profit all the way down here. It could be many weeks or months later. You can have a 9-to-5 job. You don't have to be a full-time trader to learn how to leverage trade responsibly. All that's happening is that while other people are crying and in fear as the price goes down and their assets get less because they didn't have stop losses and maybe they bought at the top, you can be making money all the way down. From January the 20th, you could have made money on the way down. So while other people are fearful, you're greedy because you're taking money and you're making profits, okay? And that's the key. So very important to understand how that works and how you can simply even do 1x leverage trading to the downside there. Now, of course, you don't do 1x leverage trading to the upside and going long, because simply you would just spot buy those, what you're all doing right now. What I'm teaching you is how to, one, add to your spot buy with leverage and supersize your buy and make money off those very, very small moves. And so you can see Bitcoin here has been going down, and you want to make money as it goes down from this top of 109 all the way down to here. Then you would have opened up a short. You would have put, okay, 109,000, and I can take profit. Let's say we go back in time and you get to do this and say we're going to take profit when it comes all the way down to the 200-day moving average, and we're going to look at taking profit at $83,000, and we're going to stop out if this goes to $110,000. And so therefore you lose a very small amount of money and you make. Now, of course, we're only using $100, but let's change that to 1,000. All of a sudden that becomes a $236 win, and a $10,000 trade that turns into a $2,384 win. And your stop out there would be very minimal. I'm going to stop out here and only lose at the most $45. Some people might even say that's too much, and they set a very tight stop of less, $27. So you can have all of that well organized and well thought out before you put in the trade. Well, I wonder where you could find a community so wonderful to help with all of that. You can find in the Discords below. You can learn all of that. That's my 6th step for trading after starting small with low leverage, 2 to 3x, using stop losses to make sure that you don't go into too much loss and you never get liquidated. Never risk too much dollars at the beginning. Remember, these are just getting started. And then practice first with a demo account, have an exit plan, and find a community that can help and support you move from where you start using $100 per trade to $1,000 per trade to maybe $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 per trade, and then eventually maybe down the track 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some people, they're very comfortable in that 5 or 1,000 is the most that they want to use on each trade, and others use a little bit more. Of course, this is not the video for that. This is the video for showing you how to get started, the beginner tips for leverage trading, my 6 keys for successful and safe leverage trading. And of course, until the next episode, or until I see you, hopefully see you in the Discord there, happy trading.